Hey there, I'm Ollie, and today I wanted to share a short walkthrough of a new product I've been working on for a little while called Calbrio. So, Calbrio is a product management tool for companies and teams that build software. And I started working on the product after trying to find a product management tool for a team I was working in. We wanted a really simple tool that helped us communicate ideas, prioritize what to work on next, and kind of crucially help keep us focused on one thing at a time rather than working on a bunch of different things at once. And we tried a lot of different products out there, many of which I'm sure some of you will have used before. But I found them all to be quite complicated, quite time consuming to use and manage. And so I decided to create something myself, something that codified the product development approach that I wanted to use. So I started to build Calbrio. It's an opinionated product management system that helps teams identify the most valuable work to do next and stay focused on the next thing to ship. It's really very much a work in progress, but I wanted to show you where I'm at in the development process so far, and I hope to share more in the future as I evolve the product as well. So let's get started. Let me show you Calbrio. So this is the Calbrio homepage. If I just sign in here and I'll just put in my password, you'll see that we've got this idea of accounts. So one of the nice things here is that you can use, if you work for different companies, for example, or you've got different projects, you can have different accounts. I'm going to jump into the Calbrio account, which is what we're using to actually develop Calbrio as well. So when you get to your account, you can see you've got this dashboard page. And it gives every user a view on what they're currently working on. So Calbrio is built around kind of two key concepts. The first one is bets, and the second one is cycles. And I'll explain them both as I walk through the product. So if we look at bets first, these are like ideas or hypotheses that you have to improve your product. And in Calbrio, any user can create a bet. It's not just for product managers. It's anybody can create their own bets to think about how they can improve the things that they're working on. And they can see those bets in the dashboard here. So these are all my bets. You can see they're all things that I think could help improve the Calbrio product. And they're all at different stages. Like some have been prioritized, some are pitched, some are in a draft status. And if I just click here, I can view all of my bets together. So here I've got this list. If I had already, we'd already built some of these things, I could see them being completed. And things, one of the things that we wanted to do with this as well is to try to stop you having really long backlogs of work. So actually, if you have a bet which you decide not to work on, it's automatically archived. Obviously, you can bring it back from the archive. But we want to try and keep this list of bets quite small, right? So that we're not just kind of creating more and more lists of work to do. So let's just jump in and create a new bet. So let's imagine that we want to improve the way that bets are created in Calbrio. So let's say add videos to bet outlines. Maybe this is an idea that we have. And then we have this idea of an outline. So this is how I would explain to other people what this bet is about. So let's say the problem to solve is that our people don't fully understand the bets from just reading outlines. They want to see demos, for example. And then maybe I could say, actually, we have a solution. In this case, our solution is allow users to embed video into the outline. So super simple way of explaining what the bet is all about. Obviously, at the moment, this is completely free text. You can add whatever you like. You can obviously add code, bullet points, those kinds of things. We've got this idea that eventually we'll move this towards a templating system, so you can have common structure around the bets that people write. But for now, it's kind of free text. And then the last part of creating a bet is to just look at the appetite. So often when people are creating work within teams, they think about estimating how big the work is or how long it's going to take. And obviously to do that, you need to do quite a lot of work up front. So you need to, for example, scope the work, you need to think about the designs, you need to think about how you're going to implement it from an architectural point of view, and all of that will affect how long it's going to take. We're taking a slightly different approach here with Calbrio, which is based on the idea that from Shape Up, which is a product management methodology that the team at 37 Signals use. They have this concept of appetites. So rather than thinking about how big something is, you actually ask yourself, how long would I be willing to invest in this thing to deliver value? So in our case, we might say, okay, we think we'd invest 2 weeks of time, for example, in adding videos to the outline, because we think it's worth that. But maybe I wouldn't be prepared to invest 6 weeks. That's just way too much. And then we leave it to the team to decide how far they can get within that 2 weeks. So they'll try and create as small a slice as possible to get to the value. And then actually they might say, okay, we've got a bit more time. Maybe we can add a couple of other features to this. Maybe we can add editing in line or something like that. And then at the end of that cycle, that's the end of the piece of work. And if we want to enhance it further, we would create another bet and obviously add some more appetite to that. Or we might say that's good enough. We'll stick with what we've got. So if we create a bet, you can see now that we've kind of the bet's created. We've got the outline here. We can see a bunch of information about kind of the state of the bet. It's a draft at the moment. We can see the appetite here, and we can change it if we want to. So maybe we'll change it to 3 weeks instead. I find that as I kind of shape these bets and kind of write the outline more, often I end up changing the appetite a little bit one way or the other. And the other kind of piece here to share really is around this idea of cycles. So yeah, these are the other concept within Calbrio is this idea of a cycle. These are set periods of time. For us, it's 6 weeks, but you can change those to be different lengths of time if you like. And that cycle is kind of sacred. It's where we only work on the things that we have prioritized for that cycle within that period of time. So we are focused on just the bets we've prioritized and not gone off to work on other things or other requests and things like that. It's really important for us. It helps keep us focused and it helps prevent distraction. And it also means that our investment is secure. We're not seeing things kind of balloon in time, take a lot longer. We're really clear that what we have invested is what we will spend, and then we can make a conscious decision if we want to invest more in the next cycle, for example. So if I've created this bet, I can pitch that to the rest of my team or the rest of my company by adding it to a cycle. So if I click Add Cycle, you'll see it automatically adds it to the next available cycle, so cycle 3 in our case. And if we click on here, it'll jump us straight to that next cycle page. So here you can see there's a pitched column. So these are all the bets that users have created, members of our team or the company, for example. And I could easily click on these and read the outlines and understand what they are. You can see the appetites for each of these, so 2 team weeks or 3 team weeks, and a total of the amount of team weeks that the total pitch column includes. And then what we can do is we can, as a group, as a team or a company, we can go through these pitch bets and we can then start to make decisions about which ones will we going to prioritize. And the way we do this at the moment is we have a discussion around each of them and we make our decisions. So let's say, for example, we think actually the videos in the bet outline is a really important thing for us to work on. We can just drag that over to our prioritized column, and now everything in this prioritized column, if we started this cycle, they would be added to the next cycle to work on. Something I find quite useful is being able to see the totals in the columns. So we look at what our availability is for a team. So if we've got 6 weeks, then obviously we need this green to get up to 6 team weeks, and that's kind of how we work out our capacity for each cycle. So I won't start this cycle now because we actually have one that's currently in progress, but you can see kind of this is what we would be working on in our current cycle. We can see our past cycles if we want to look back on those. And if we go back to the dashboard, you can see that current cycle and you can see the bets within it, and quite easily and quickly just jump to that bet to then go about working on it. So one of the things we want to do going forward is we want to build out the idea of bets within a cycle, and use those as a place to create tasks and leave comments and keep track of the work in progress basically through the cycle. And in doing so, it means that anybody in the company or anybody in the team can look at where you are within the current cycle and kind of see where see if there's good progress, but also quite quickly and easily see where there might be kind of blockers or challenges, and maybe get involved to help with those as well. It's kind of a core concept of Calbrio, is this idea of creating, being a transparent tool and creating visibility for everybody, rather than having this idea of permissions and locking it down so that only certain people can see certain spaces or bets or team areas. So that's a kind of super quick early look into kind of Calbrio, how it works. And as I say, I've tried to build out the core concept, this idea of bets and cycles. And over the coming weeks and months, we'll keep developing this, and I hope to keep sharing our progress. And hopefully, as we add more features, we can kind of keep demoing back and sharing what we've done. So yeah, that's it. Thanks very much for watching, and hopefully we can share more soon.